Another person that was there to sign the peace accord was the Israeli prime minister of the time, Yitzhak Rabin, and the PLO, or Palestine Liberation Organization leader, Yasser Arafat. Now, sounds really good that these three are signing this and agreeing to peace, but it really wasn't very effective, and so things haven't really changed much today. However, because of the signing of this peace accord, Yitzhak Rabin was actually assassinated. He was assassinated on November 4th, 1995, by an Israeli college student that was appalled that he would have signed this peace accord because the perception was that they were going to give up the land of Palestine to the PLO, and they believed that they control that land. So Ariel Sharon took over after Yitzhak Rabin, and he's no longer the leader now. Now it's President Rivlin, and so he is the leader of Israel right now. The prime minister, however, is Benjamin Netanyahu, and so you'll see those names in various articles as you do your research for your newspaper. Yasser Arafat is also dead. So two of the three people that signed the peace accord are dead. And so because of that, it's clearly a less effective document. So the conflict between Israel and Palestine really has not changed, and it has escalated starting in the summer of 2014 by an extremist group known as Hamas. All right, so the new PLO leader currently today trying to get Palestine their independence is Muhammad Abbas. All right, another person of mention with this part of the world is, of course, Osama bin Laden. And after 9/11, of course, he was the focus of our manhunt, and he was captured and, well, he was killed actually on May 1st, 2011. And from that, of course, we thought that would eliminate this sort of version of terrorism, and it has. Al Qaeda is not necessarily one of the world's strongest terrorist groups, but you have the offshoot like that are found in ISIS and so forth. So, although you took the head off of the snake, it didn't necessarily stop terrorism. All right, so going on with the culture, some of this we've already mentioned before, but as far as their dress, they are dressing very conservative. Men and women really need to dress conservatively and only show hands, face, and feet. For the boys, if we're talking about the traditional dress, they wear the keffiyeh, which is the headdress, tied on or held on with the agal, which is the cord, and then the abba is the white robe. Now, again, this is traditional. It doesn't mean that they wear this 24/7, but it would be frequently worn. For girls, they don't have it quite so lucky. They don't get a white robe, they get a black robe. And especially in countries like Afghanistan or Saudi Arabia, where they're a little bit more traditionalist, they would be covered head to toe in black, and even their face is covered. So you can see that there would be very little shown. Here in the United States, you probably don't see them dressed head to toe like that, but you might see them in the hijab. And the hijab is just the headdress or the scarf that most Muslim women wear in our country. All right, some customs. The right side of the body is considered pure and clean. They eat with that. They pass food with that. They write with their right hand. They do everything with their right hand. The husband would walk ahead of the wife, and something to do with status. Some of this does have to do with status. However, this tradition is kind of changing because it also had to do with some sort of, safety ideas for anything that would happen. The men would be there to protect the wife. Shops are closed usually from 1 to 3. Not only is it prayer time, but it's also the hottest time of the day, so they kind of take that time off. And again, as I mentioned, businesses are closed during that prayer time, any of the 5 times throughout the day. All right, Islamic prayer, we've mentioned this a lot. They use a prayer rug 5 times facing Mecca, which is called Salat. Remember, that's one of the pillars. They go to the mosque, which is the place of worship. And at the top of the mosque, or on the 4 corners, you'll see the minarets. Those are the towers that are on the mosque that has a muezzin that goes to the top and calls Muslims to prayer. they take their shoes off, they wash their hands and feet before they pray. And again, it's very important to go through that whole ritual. So these here are the minarets. So you can see them on these two different pictures of mosques. And this is the muezzin. The muezzin is the person that kind of singy, remember Arabic calls them to prayer so they know that that's what they should do. All right, some other things. No pork. They do not eat pork or they do not drink alcohol. Remember, not only is that wrong to do in their religion, it's illegal to sell pork, to mention pork, to have alcohol, drink it, sell it, have it. No gambling as well. Public hangings or public beheadings were on Fridays, typically for crimes like drug pushing, murder, adultery. And they do have a matua. The matua is a religious police. Now, you don't have to write this down, but they have authority over enforcing religious law. So they have the power to arrest unrelated males and females caught socializing. So you don't even socialize. Or if anyone's engaged in homosexual behaviors or prostitution, they enforce those strict dress codes. Store closures need to be closed at prayer time or they could get fined. They enforce dietary laws like alcohol and pork. They don't allow a lot of Western CDs, DVDs, music, TV in the country, so they might seize that sort of material. And also, they make sure that you are not practicing another religion as well, since it's illegal. And this is an example in Saudi Arabia. All right, again, the bazaar is where they go shopping, and so that's an important part of the culture then and even today. All right, so the newspaper project, you're going to work with your table partner. You're going to create a Google Slide doc, and you're going to make it look like a newspaper. It's due on Tuesday the 10th, but as soon as you get that done, you have the rest of the time to study for Wednesday's test. So you want to try to stay on top of things and get everything rolling. All right, so each person must find one article from a newspaper. You're going to cut it out and you're going to write the source on it. You're going to find one article online, and the online article needs to be at least 10 sentences. The newspaper article needs to be at least 5 sentences, and you're going to draw a country out of the can to know which online article you're going to look for. The one in the newspaper can be about anything dealing with the Middle East. So it can be about any country in the Middle East. It can be about the religion of Islam. It can be about any terrorist groups. It can be anything about the United States and Middle East relations. It can be about 9/11. I mean, it can be anything about the immigration ban from some of these countries. So look for those particular articles. The newspaper article, as I mentioned, must be at least 5 sentences long. Online articles need to be at least 10 sentences long. You cannot use opinion or editorial articles. I want more factual articles. And your articles between the four articles between the two of you and your partner cannot be repeat. They might be about the same topic, but not the same article, same source. And then you're going to summarize it, and you're going to submit that to Canvas before class, or at least so that I can look at them during class on Monday. So you can submit them Sunday or you can submit them Monday morning or before class, but I just need to be able to look at those before you put those into your newspaper.